Hi everyone, welcome back to a windy Pentland Hills and a windy Rusty Rides gravel. Today is the day I talk about my bike. So those of you who have watched from the beginning of the channel will have noticed that I started on a Trek Checkpoint AL gravel bike. Well, it was actually a road bike, but I was using it for gravel, and then that died a very sad death. I think I got 4,800 kilometers out of it before it died. And I went to the bike shop to get it fixed, and then instead of fixing it I came back with this, the Bianchi Arcadex 2021 model, medium size, Chainstays blue as opposed to the forest gold and blue version. I think this looks better than the forest gold. It's a controversial design, I think. To be honest, I didn't like it when I first saw the pictures of it, but looking at it in the carbon is much better, and I think this colour is the best choice to have, especially with the black wool tyres. I think they make a big difference as well. Interestingly, Bianchi market this for the speed-oriented gravel rider as opposed to the race-oriented gravel rider that the Impulso does. So the bike comes with the GRX 810 Di2 drivetrain from Shimano. It's got a 40 front and 11-speed rear. I have Bontrager Aeolus Pro 3 V 700C wheels on it, and I've put some Michelin Power Gravel 40C tyres around those. For the pedals, I've gone for XTR Trail SPDs. I do prefer being clipped in on the gravel. So the original bike came with tan wool tyres. I think the black wool tyres just finish off this spec nicely. So the geometry of this bike then, I think it's very much like a tourer, a road tourer, as opposed to the long tube, short-stemmed mountain bike-esque shape that some gravel bikes go for. You still sit very upright, very comfortable on it. And I think that helps it to feel faster on the roads and the flatter forest trails, definitely. Maybe the slightly more upright position is slightly less stable on the more technical stuff. I've had no issues with it so far. I think if you don't like being upright so much, maybe drop the stem a bit here with these removable pleats. Now, I wasn't ever really that fussed about going for a 1x. When I had the Checkpoint, I was more than happy with my Tiagra group set on there with the two cogs at the front. But since going to the 1x, I don't think I'd ever go back. It's absolutely bomb-proof. Having the clutch on the rear mech is an absolute game changer for keeping the chain nice and tight. No more chain slap, no more chains coming off. The removal of the front derailleur as well, the simplification of that. No more mud in there, no more chain getting caught. It's just simpler, easier. I think the range of gears that come on this Shimano set are okay. I think if I was on a heavy bike with touring stuff on, I probably could do with another easier gear. I don't think Shimano do that though. And again, for the fastest gear, the smallest cog there, I do find myself spinning out on the faster sections of road. But 99% of the time, absolutely perfect. Definite convert to the 1x, and love the GRX. Because it's Di2, I can use just these two shifters on my right hand hood here. I don't have any use for these two on the left hand hood. And then I've got little extra buttons here for controlling my Garmin. So massively simplified up here at the front. I think the only real drawback for this is the Di2 sort of control unit sits under the stem here on a very, very, very suspiciously weak looking rubber band. And I mean, that's exposed to the elements, and I'm guaranteed it's gonna snap on me at some point and I'm gonna be left unable to ride the bike. So I'm always carrying zip ties just in case. So the wheels, when I bought the bike, it came with a set of wheels that weren't tubeless ready, and I was pretty keen on having tubeless tyres. So I opted for a swap, and I somehow came away with these Bontrager Aeolus Aero Wheels. They're actually the same ones I have on my road bike, so I know them well. They're very light, very fast. Probably not your traditional gravel wheel, but they've got the Bontrager guarantee. I think that's 3 years. If they damage in any way, you'll just get them replaced, which when you're graveling must be absolute lifesaver. Although I've never had a wheel break, touch wood. So yes, they're very strong, robust wheels so far, nice and fast, nice and strong. And I've wrapped them in the Michelin Power Gravel tubeless tyres at 40Cs. These are I think they run at slightly higher pressure than I like. I think the minimum pressure is like 42 psi, and they go all the way up to 60 odds. Now I run them right on the cusp of the 42 psi. The tread on them is good. I've had no issues with grip. They've always surprised me when I thought I was going to slip and I haven't. They're nice and fast on the smoother road sections as well, so a good fast tyre. The only thing I'm not slightly sold on is the puncture proofness. I've had two somewhat innocuous looking gravel trails have caused catastrophic punctures on my rear tyre. For what I can see, there's no reason at all. So I'm a little bit suspect on like the strength of the tyre, but they're a good fast, low rolling resistance gravel tyre. If you like going fast, these are the tyres for you. So the combination of the more enduro bike geometry and the fast rolling tyres makes this a pretty fast bike actually. I do surprise myself how fast I go on the smoother and the downhill sections. So going uphill, no problems with it. Solid, robust, very sturdy. I mean, I give up before the bike does 90% of the time. So up front on the handlebars, slightly flared, not too much. Good strong position on the hoods. And then you can still get relatively aero with good control when you need it down on the drops. This rubber construction that Shimano have put on the hoods is like sandpaper on my hands. I always have to wear gloves when I ride this because these grips just shred it. I think that the frame design itself is a very chunky bike. And you've got these huge, wide, low profile forks here and this rather chunky tube here going down into this weird box section. And I think this is where the battery would go and the motor would go for the e-bike version of these. For the non-e-bike version, it does look a bit cumbersome. I think it's a bit chalk and cheese if you like this sort of thing. Annoyingly though, because it's Di2 and I've had all the cables hidden, they haven't supplied a blanking plate that completely covers the inside of the tube. I don't know why, but there's a hole that just goes straight in there, lets all the water and muck in. Why you can't just have a little rubber grommet on there. Bianchi reasons, I guess. Also this chunky front of the bike here makes it quite difficult to tie things around it. So if you've got a handlebar bag up here, trying to get around this is quite tricky. Same if you've got like a race number on or something. You quite often can't get them round. And when they are on, they do tend to rub on the Bianchi badge at the front here. So a bit of a compromise to be had there, I think, due to the size of that tube. So there are actually mounting points for mud guards on this bike, which is pretty handy. A couple of screw holes here for the rear one. However, on the front here, there are two mount points for I guess, bike packing kit, but they're not threaded. So you'd have to find some sort of way of screwing in a bolt there and having a nut on the back of it, which I'm not sure why that's the case. Maybe because it's carbon and it's very, very thin. I don't even know if I'd want to put something on there anyway. Other mount points include two screws for a top tube mount here, and then there's a couple of screws underneath all this dirt. A couple of points for mounting something again on the underside of the down tube. So overall, not the best for on-bike storage, but there's stuff there should you need it. Something else I came a cropper with, these chainstays are very wide and they flare out quite a bit. And I put a cadence monitor on this pedal, left-hand pedal, and it kept rubbing on the chainstay to the point where it's rubbed some of the paint off. So just be careful if you're going to put anything on these pedals like that, because there's not much clearance between the crank and the chainstays. So I think overall this is a bike that you have to see in the carbon to truly appreciate. I don't think the pictures do it justice at all. I think having the black tyres really sort of helps finish off the look as opposed to the tan wool ones, and I think the Celeste and blue is better than well, I think it's forest gold or something it's called, and blue, definitely. So for the 700 kilometers I've ridden it so far over the summer since getting it, no real issues at all. A couple of punches on the rear tyre, but the rest of the bike has been absolutely solid. Loved having it, loved riding it, and I hope I get many more good kilometers out of it. Quick interlude, bit of a disclaimer. My lens fogged up whilst I was recording the piece to camera, so apologies for some of the cloudier quality I've got going on here. don't know if I can record it again. Light's starting to fade a bit now, so I'm running out of time. What a disaster! There you go, make that. So you can hear that. That's the noise I get when I go over bumps. Something rattles in there. Can be disconcerting, but so far it hasn't fallen apart. So I just wanted to leave you with a thought, mostly about what is a gravel bike? What does it mean to be a gravel bike? Does my bike constitute a gravel bike? I mean, it's full carbon, it's got Di2 on it, it's got Aero Wheels. I mean, that's a lot of money to spend on a gravel bike. Understand doing it on a road bike, you know, you want to spend more money to go faster for longer. But is that really what you need for a gravel bike? I don't know. Do you want to go faster for longer on a gravel bike, or do you just want to go longer for longer? Is it about the journey on gravel more than the destination? Do you need to spend thousands of pounds on a full carbon bike for gravelling? I mean, if you wanted to go fast, you get the Impulso from the Bianchi range. So where exactly does this one sit? You can't put too much on it, and it hasn't got that much storage or bolt locations for storage. So what's the point of it? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. But do I regret buying it? No, of course I don't regret buying it. It's amazing. I love it. I love every single bit of it. It is massively over-engineered for what I use it for, but there we go. It's part of the fun, I guess. What does gravel mean to you? What does gravel mean to me? To me it means that Bianchi Arcadex and enjoying the Di2 one-by system, which I've never had before. I love that. The lightness of it, the speed of it, the agility of it, it's all great. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you would have one of these. Does an Arcadex scream gravel bike to you, or does it scream pretentious show off? I don't know. Let me know. So that concludes my review of the bike in the sunny but windy Pentland Hills. Hope you found it informative. Maybe it swayed you to buy one or not buy one if you were considering it. Thanks all for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you next time. Cheers everyone.